Okay, so we have a DV9000 here, and from what our user has expressed and said, this system does turn on. It does register all the memory. The hard drive works perfectly fine. But what happens is the camera at the top right there doesn't work. Some of the USBs on the sides do not work, and wireless card goes in and out. So what we're going to do is stake this. This is a reflow job also, because even while things are starting up and doing what they're doing and supposedly working, even with a load screen like this that takes some time to start up, that's also linked to problems that are SATA emulation problems and other hard driver problems. The hardware won't register with the system as it starts initializing, or the drivers, and that's how you get those long boot times. So what we're going to do is make sure that this starts up. And like I said, just because you're getting, say, the wireless working right now and the hard drive's running in SATA mode, you could probably plug a USB into the side of it. You may get sound, but the sound card drivers and such are stopping on this on a regular basis. It appears that this user has actually reset up their whole entire system. So what we're going to do is take it apart anyways, break it down, and then reflow it. And also, with this system being a 9800 or a 9700, and it's an AMD system, we know that the NVIDIA chipset on here is actually an MCP chipset. So what we're going to do is that one chipset controls all the devices on the system. So we have to reflow that one, and we know this from previous systems. So what we're going to do is atypical, just take it down and reflow it, then go from there. That's what we're going to do here in a minute. Alright, just like I had thought from the very beginning, we have MCP chip right here. So this chipset's actually an MCP 67M-A2. So with this chipset, what we have is one chipset that controls every function on the board. That is every one of these devices over here. Controls the SATA controllers here and here. Controls the wireless. Controls portions of the memory allocation, especially to the shared video that this also produces. So what we're going to have to do is reflow this chipset, and hopefully it will fix the USB problems, the camera problems, other device problems that are on the board that we may have, that we may not even know about just yet. So what we're going to do is put it on the machine to reflow it here in a second, and then put it back together and see where we go from there. Okay, so we've got everything set up as far as the system. We're going to let it start up and boot in and finalize its initialization. This is the only true way we're going to be able to test this system. Of course, we see the hard drives running perfectly fine. Wireless, it has not been initialized and or found. So we'll have to wait till it starts up. Of course, all the controls on the front panel work, and the trackpad works for us to do what we need to do. But we're going to let it finalize its initialization, Looks like it's going to take it a few minutes, but everything should be fine after that. When it does start up, we'll plug our USB items in, see if it initializes it, finds it, and see where we go from there, and see how it does. Now with this right here doing what it's doing, that's simply driver initialization of the components, and then installing the drivers for the hardware and doing what it needs to do to start the machine up. So it's not a video failure issue. That's actually a driver test and installation issue, as it does what it needs to do, because it's going to go into resizing the actual background and desktop. But after it gets done doing what it's doing here, we'll let it we'll plug our USBs in and check everything else after that and see what we get. Alright, so the laptop has started up, and as we can tell, driver's loaded, wireless is up, system's up. We do have sound down the system, which was a concern from our user from before. So what we're going to have to do is find something that is USB based to plug in here and see if it initializes it as far as the USBs are concerned on this side. I don't know how long this battery runs, so when I unplug it, it could just go completely out. So let's see. That battery looks like it's going to be good for at least a minute. We need to bring it over here and place it on the counter so that we can get it plugged into the USB. Move this laptop out of the way. And we have a printer set right here that we'll just use this for a quick test run to see what happens. So we plugged it in. It says installing new device. That device is a ZP450. We have a ZP450. So we know that the system is now initializing the USBs and finding components that it needs in that area. So what we're going to do is same thing we do with them all. We're going to run the stress test on it, but we're not going to videotape it this time because it's just something that we always do. Of course, you just heard that we had sound when I closed that menu out. So sound, USBs, wireless are working. We'll stress the system to see if it's going to fail. Most likely it won't, but we're going to call this one done. It's complete.